now, and everybody's on mute, but if you want to ask a question, just jump in, okay? I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. I'm going to go to the course. And if you go to the home page in the course and you pull down, way down here at the bottom, are the two options for your final project. Option 1 and option 2. Okay? So you're going to, you can download this. So if you push the little arrow right here, that's the download button, and it'll download for you. So you'll have it on your computer. Some of you are still not sure about what you want to do. So here's a preview, and then there's the download. So we're going to look at option number 1 really quick, and I'm not going to go over it point by point because I think you can read that for yourself. If you are working in an ECE setting, or if you can be in an ECE setting and manipulate it or change it with either a friend's setting or somebody that you know where you can be in the classroom, you're going to actually change the environment. So you're going to take 3 of those learning centers that are listed and actually change them. And then what you're going to do is just simply write a report using 650 words minimum, and then lots of pictures and graphs or before and after pictures and that kind of thing to make your presentation. And it works best if you can do it in PowerPoint or a Word format, or you can even do a YouTube video. But I have to be able to see it and read it and actually understand it. So it has to be a format that I can understand. So if you have another idea about how you want to do that, you'll have to contact me and make sure that that's okay. Okay, so this is the situation where you're actually working in an environment and you can hands-on physically change it. For instance, there's someone that's in their own childcare home and they're planning on rearranging their whole environment. And that would be perfect. That's fine. You want to use everything that you gain from the course, any resources that you use, like what's online and what's in the text. And the text has lots and lots of wonderful information. It's a great text because it goes point by point through each of the learning centers for you. And you're going to put together a presentation. The more that you have, the better it will be. At the end of the term, close to the end of the term in week 11, you can send me a rough draft of what you have accomplished so far, and I will give you feedback on that. Okay, and that's for grade too, so you get points for that. So let's go back, if this will go back, and we'll find option number 2, and we'll talk about that real quick. Whoops, that's not where I wanted to go. There we go, back down here. All right, so there's option number 2. And it used to be a little bit different, but because of COVID, we've kind of given folks a little bit more opportunity to do something differently. If you are not working in an ECE setting, you can do option number 2. And you can observe, if you have the opportunity to observe, in 2 or 3 settings that are in the age group that you're going to work with, like birth to kindergarten or 1st grade through 3rd grade. And you're going to plan your dream classroom. It'll be your idea about what a classroom needs to be. And you're going to draw a map of what your classroom looks like on the inside and also your outside environment. But if you can't observe, which lots of people can't observe because of COVID right now, you can interview 2 to 3 ECE teachers in classes that serve young children, and you can design questions that will give you ideas about how to set up your learning centers, okay? And you're going to do the same learning centers that you do in option 1. So you pick 3 of those that are listed, and you're going to design those learning centers, specifically the information for them, okay? And you'll have to still have 650 words with lots and lots of pictures and that kind of thing. And you want to make sure that you do a presentation and a PowerPoint or Word or YouTube or something that I can actually understand and see. And the most important thing too to remember is that when you put your project together, you want to make sure that you have a bibliography. And a bibliography is just basically a list of all of the resources that you've used. So any videos that you've used or pictures that you use. If you're in a setting, you might be able to take pictures of your own setting, but if you're not, then you'll have to borrow those from online, and you have to show where you get them from. So you'll have to put that together, okay? So before I go to something else really quick, does anybody have any questions for me? Okay, Anna.
Me. So when you can you show the screen again?
Oh, sure. Which one do you want to see?
Second.
Okay.
Option
number 2. All right, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what do you need clarification?
So when you said the to draw like a map of how you want our future classroom to look like on the inside, on the outside,
right.
What do you mean on the outside if it's a room?
Oh, your outside environment, your outdoor play area.
So like a school outdoor?
Yeah, and since you're designing it,
because
you get to make it look any way you want to because it's your dream environment.
Okay.
So,
and when can you scroll down a little bit?
Sure.
Okay. And in the 3 district thing, what do you mean when, so we choose 3 of those options, and what do you mean with making a plan for those 3?
You're going to design them. You're going to tell me what's inside of it, what it looks like, for instance, if you choose a dramatic play center, what does your dramatic play center look like? What does it have in it? What are the things that the children will be experiencing while they're in that dramatic play center? So you want to make it as, I've got some options for you to look at so that you get some ideas about some examples of what other people have done, okay? So that might help a little bit. Any other questions right now? And you know what? As you go through the text, and as you do some of the exercises, it will get a little bit more clear. Okay, so let's go to. All right, so you're going to go to the file section here on the left-hand side. And when you get in there, there are some resources. And right in here are sample projects. And there's 3 different ones that you can take a look at. And they're not perfect by any means. These are, some of them are not finished. Some of them just have pieces of them. But I wanted to give you an idea of what some students were starting to put together. If this, it might not want to load on my computer. So let's see. All right, you might have to download it to look at it. Okay. Because I'm streaming right now in Zoom, it's not going to probably show it. But there's 3 different things to look at that will help you with an example of what somebody's final looked like or started to look like when they were putting it together. Okay? And then there's some other resources in here. So here's some other things that you can look at that will help you to understand more about environments. Okay? And then, like I said, when we get to week 11, as soon as it gets there, very slow tonight. So when we get to week 11, there'll be an assignment for that. And we're down here on the bottom. Let's see. I'm not sure where I put that then. Okay, this one that's where you put your final project. So let me look in the modules. I'll make sure that everybody can see it. Oh, there it is at the top. I just saw it. It was hiding. Okay, so at the very top up here, it says week 11 project feedback. And when you get to week 11, you can submit not your entire project. You know, you might not be done by then, but you could have most of it done and just need some feedback. So basically, you're just going to post it in this assignment box, and I will look at it and give you feedback as soon as I can. And it will be, since it's in week 11 and the end of the project is in week 12, then it's just a very quick turnaround. So as soon as you can get that in, I mean, you don't even have to wait till week 11. You can turn it in earlier, and then I can give you some feedback. What I have experienced is, for those of you who actually are talking with me about this project right now, you'll probably do a better job on your final than people that don't have the information because they didn't take the time or they couldn't do this. So right now you have an opportunity to ask me some questions. So if you have any right now, you think about it, ask me. And if not, I am available most of the time. And if you send me an email, I can get back to you within 24 to 48 hours and answer your questions for you. Okay? Any more questions? Nope. Clear as mud, as they say.
I have a question. You want the map like handmade, or
yes, it can be.
The map?
It can be handmade, or you can do it on a computer, just as long as it's easy to read, and that it has. I can see the dimensions. I can see your plan, and it's like a blueprint, you know, for if you're building a house.
Like, okay, you want measurements?
Yes.
Then?
Yes, because measurements are very important in early childhood, and we just talked about that. 35 square feet per child in an early childhood setting. So, those things are really important. It's different in infant toddler than it is in preschool, and different in kindergarten than early.
Okay. And like I I choose number 2 because I'm not the head teacher. I'm supporting
yes
classes, but still I know you want an after and before plan, or you want just the dream classroom?
It's your dream classroom, but you can certainly, you can use pieces of your classroom that you have now to base what you would change it to, if you would change it. So
Okay.
you can say, okay, this is the way that it is right now, but if I could change it, this is what I would do.
Okay.
Okay? And then, you can draw your plan, and then you can, design that center the way that you want it. And you may come up with something that you don't even have in the classroom right now, like a science center or a math center or woodworking or something like that.
Okay, got it.
Okay?
We can, yeah, we can just dream, huh?
Yes. As a matter of fact, and some people have actually even come up with a budget and shown how much it would cost for them to build an entire center. So
Okay.
you can just get as crazy as you want to. It's your dream classroom.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Emily, do you have any questions? You're kind of hiding over there somewhere.
No, I've been kind of debating between the two, so I haven't picked which one I am actually going to do yet. So I just don't know if I'm going to be allowed to change anything in where I work right now. So I have to figure that out first.
Okay, and the sooner you can figure that out, the better. But you could, like I was explaining to Olivia, you can also have a combination of, like if you could change it, this is what you'd like to do.
So like just take the picture of how things are and then kind of do a map out of what I would change if it were possible.
Yes.
Okay.
We all know that we're not necessarily in a perfect setting when we're in a classroom setting, especially with COVID and so many restrictions that have kind of imposed themselves. So it's okay to do a little bit of a combination. My purpose in having you do a project as opposed to having you do an exam is for me to have you be as creative as possible, to show what you've learned, to demonstrate what you've learned, and that way it helps me to understand where you are as far as your understanding of a well thought out classroom environment. And Sarah, did you have any questions? You kind of popped in there on us. Kind of hard to tell whether you can hear me. Zoom has been so much fun. Have any of you had to do online classes as teachers for little kids?
I was doing the remote services when everybody was at home, and we did some story time, and we post in OCDC page, Facebook page, and that was fun.
Like that, huh?
Because my kids helped me.
How was the participation? Did you have a lot of participation?
Yeah, the kids really the children really like the post, because how they've been in the class, we read a lot. They like the books. They really the moms give me feedback, and they say, oh, they want to see the video because they recognize the voices, and I mean, that was nice.
I think it was a really interesting experiment with children to see if they can actually do online stuff. And I think they probably are pretty good about figuring out the technology. Little kid.
Yeah, it was new. Everything was new.
Sarah, I'm not quite sure what you mean. More than one feedback? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Oh, you mean just to touch bases again to make sure that everybody's on the right track as far as your funnel goes? Is that what you're talking about? She's texting me. Yes, okay, great. Yes, certainly. And you can, I can certainly have a telephone conversation with you. We can set up an appointment or something if you need some more guided help. My goal is for you to succeed. I don't want you to get to the end of the term and think, oh my gosh, I can't do this, because there's, that's a very heavy weight on that final. So you might get all kinds of really great grades all the way through and then bomb on your final, and I don't want you to do that. So yes, you can contact me and we can set up a meeting, okay? Any other questions really quick? No, okay. So I think, unless you have any questions, I think that we're good to go to get started. Like I said, I'm recording, so I'll post it back up just in case you want to go through this again and listen to see if there's any more information. Go into the course and look at those two options and read them over and make sure that you understand what it is that I want you to do. And then go and look at the examples that are in the file section of people who have either started working on a project or have completed a project. There's one of them that's pretty complete. And take it with a grain of salt, because sometimes people leave things out, so you know that they're not necessarily perfect. So don't copy them, do your thing, but just use them as a guide to help you to understand what it is I'm talking about a little bit more, okay? Okay, so if you're all feeling kind of comfortable about getting started, go ahead and give it a try. Start taking pictures or finding pictures of things as we go through the course. We're going to be talking about different kinds of learning centers. And as we go through those learning centers, they may be something that you want to address in your final, either in the option number 1 or option number 2. Start collecting that data now, as soon as you have an inspiration about that. Now, if you're still not sure about which option that you want to choose, you might just let me know and we can maybe talk that out a little bit more, okay? Okay, so have a great rest of your evening. And you guys are already on top of it because you were able to attend this little Zoom meeting. Alrighty? Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Good night.